low rank, all bloody jungle. And no gang, Odo, gang clacking your tanks. No parlay, you sacking the racks. Malrang showed you the hard way. Jumping a Madden and you kill your imagining dragons. You've had enough chances and now you amateurs to rabbit to answer for the fact you're lacking in comparison to Rogue. The most prone to postpone.
Dan Bull is the fucking man. What a phenomenal segment. As far as I'm concerned, that was the best verse rap bars of the entire cypher. I think, the Bob the Builder in the corner here did a pretty good job, but it didn't live up to Dan Bull at all. Welcome back to the cast stage. We're about to jump into game 3. As every caster always says, we have a series on our hands. But I do have something to address that's quite serious.
Oh, yeah?
I think the Berlin crowd suck.
Boo him.
Yeah,
hang on.
That's right.
Hang on.
I'm going to be honest. We've been here for 9 weeks at this point, and those Rift Herald cheers for game 1 and 2 were abysmal. So can you show me a good Rift Herald cheer in game 3? Is that a yes or no, Berlin?
Okay, hang on. They can only... Hang on. Now, Trev might be having some issues here, but you can redeem yourselves. What do you say?
Yeah, definitely. Who is here to support Rogue?
And what about the Mad Lions?
It's Mad Lion's favorite.
I think we can hit the draft to figure out who's going to win game number 3. I'll tell you something though, as mean as I just was to our Berlin crowd, I'll tell you now that these are the most hardcore and dedicated fans of the entire summer, because it is a literal hell-level thunderstorm in Berlin. I have got multiple warnings from every app I have on my phone saying extreme thunder, extreme rain.
Oh, that was Armut's
Every
Kennen.
single one of you has been here today despite that, so thank you so much. Let's jump into draft. Mad Lions had side selection, and they elected to take blue side. I'm going to come to Caedrel first because we were talking a little bit about expectations. Blue-red, blue still favors.
Yeah, blue has target ban, so I wonder if they will target Sivir, already taken away. Renekton Yuumi, again, in the back of my mind as target bans that they might want to take away. Do they change their priority as well? Do they first pick Lucian? Do they first pick something else? Do they first pick Renekton? We'll see what they have, but they've definitely got something prepared if they're going for blue side this time around.
And I feel like when they've gone for these kill lane bot lanes with this Lucian, right, it didn't really work out in the laning phase of either game. The first game, it was more like the late game Lucian, which became very, very prevalent. I wonder if Mad Lions flip the script and say they pick Yuumi. Maybe they can pick something which is just not going to get outvalued as the game goes on.
Yeah, I mean, Seri would be a good option with Yuumi, Twitch, Ezreal. These are the kind of champs we think of, and the last ban is Rogue. Wukong, another champ that we could think of. Poppy, haven't seen that just yet. Trundle again.
It was Zeri in game 2. Obviously, the Xivers now replace the Kalista. So Azir and Ornn, the same blue side bans for Mad Lions. We anticipated Yuumi could have been a first pick option for Mad. They went for that Lucian. It did not work out for Unforgiven, and
did they just troll ban? I think they had...
Whoa! Look at Mac's reaction though on stage.
They had, so what they have is they have nothing to ban. If they ban Zeri, they want something else. So they throw ban a Teemo. Now, that's quite disrespectful in a sense, because you might think they could ban something like Orianna, just something random that might happen, but they're confident enough that they've got something locked on the 1-2 that they don't have to ban a power pick.
Well, I mean, it's happened now.
I tell you something, sorry to cut you off, but I just got an update from one of our producers. The Mad Lions also troll banned G2 last year, Jhin. I think it was a Brand was the one
I
pick.
remember that. They did ban Brand, I remember that. They had nothing to ban, and Max said, we'll ban Brand, but we see a Poppy first pick now. Renekton on the first rotation for Rogue. Do they want to go for Yuumi as well? That's what was working in game 2. Game 1, again, they ran that exact same comp, sticking to their guns, or are they thinking of something else?
Yeah, but the thing about the Yuumi is that the only lane pairing which doesn't have a dash is the Sivir. That's been removed. Look, again, we get it. We get it. We understand.
I like the booze. I like the booze.
It is the correct choice, though.
What I love though, the volume is great. Berlin making me eat my words. That's what I want to hear. Renekton, Yuumi, Rogue sticking to the game plan that's won them at least one of the games.
Yeah, but I'm really interested in what Rogue are going to pair this up with now. You don't have that Civ, which I think is probably the strongest laning, in terms of laning pressure you can have at that point. And I guess Mad Lion's getting into the spirit of things and hovering all the stuff.
I don't like talking about hoppers, but Aurelion Sol, the roaming, and Nisqy is exactly what I expect. Remember, Kalista was banned by Mad Lions in the previous game. He's now locked in with the Kennen.
I meant Kalista, yeah, I was thinking, the second I saw that, I thought of Kalista, Kennen bot lane, but of course I think this is just going to be Armut's match into the Renekton again. Kennen top can be flexed. Zeri here on 3 would make the most sense. Ezreal could work as well if you want to be a bit safer into the Poppy, which the Zeri might struggle against. But they're going to go for their jungler. They're going to pick Trundle into the Kalista Poppy, which makes sense with the ult. I wonder what AD's Rogue have left, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, you still have the Zeri up there, but you have nothing which is going to be safe in lane at this point. Kalista is so disgusting at the early levels. I think you've got to ban Renata away. I think you've got to ban away the Amumu as well. Anything that can fight level 1 is inherently very, very dangerous. And actually, that Renata has been oddly quite invisible this series. We've not really seen any priority on it, but in this game, with the Kalista, I think that would be completely disastrous to give over, so Rogue could ban it away.
I just can't get the voice out of my head. If there were a team to run Kalista Kennen bottom lane, I think Mad Lions would be that team. What are the odds on it? I know it was a misspeak, but we're in band 2 phases, Renata's removed.
So for me, the identity of Kalista as a champion, you see this a lot in the LPL, is you just fight level 1 and you aim to pretty much end the game by like level 3 to 6. You get control of the bot wave, you shove in, and either the jungler loses a quadrant of their jungle, or you dive, or you zone the bot lane off the wave. You need to be able to fight early. And Kennen as a support, it's fun. I don't think it gives you that option.
Yeah, they're going to look for something more engage heavy. You have to expect a Mumu, very good call, but might struggle into the Trundle, but we'll see. I mean, it's just solidified engage, pull him out, pull him in, whatever you need to do to get the engage going. Now, thinking for AD carry here for Rogue, Ezreal would make the most sense with Yuumi. Twitch could work, but into Kennen, Kalista might be a bit dangerous. But then Aphelios and Xayah, the last two, but then again, they're immobile. So they're going to have to dig deep there. See a Mumu ban that you highlighted there, Nymaera. And then it's just a case of mid lane picks, right? Do we see something like the Ahri come out from Larssen again? Are we going to see a Taliyah blind? How much more have Mad Lions swapped it up? There's a Taliyah ban from Mad. They didn't want to give them the Taliyah on 4 to kind of negate this Kalista's team fighting prowess.
Yeah, and again, that's like one of the real picks which Kalista can really struggle into. I'm actually wondering if something like an Orianna could also do pretty well too. You've got a lot of people that are looking to clump up, run towards you, but it is less safe. So something like the Ahri, it gives you a bit of that halfway house where you're still ranged, you get to play from that point. That is not something we have seen for a long time. Wow. Actually. Now, this is something, of course, that Damwon Kia played to massive power back in the last World Championship, right? Where you had the Jhin Yuumi, where you basically get to the point where your 4th shot is poke. You always get to get in range with it. It was something that you could play with stuff like Zilean too, right? But the move speed just allows you to walk up and slam that 4th shot home. So you get to late game with that. Rogue have another combo to play around.
Can I tell you something really quickly? That Jhin, this is only the 4th ever time that Comp has played this champion. All 3 of his previous games are victories. Can you take a guess what his KDA is? Throw a number at me, quick.
4.
Higher.
Oh, 14.
Higher.
What?
Correct.
18.
Higher.
25.
46.
Oh, Jesus. What?
His KDA is 46 across 3 games of Jhin. That's a quick stat for you as Nautilus and Sylas has been thrown out, Caedrel.
He's got a lot of divers he's going to have to deal with. Boots of Swiftness and as much speed as possible to get away from them. Now, what's the last pick mid here for Larssen? Something into the Sylas. Maybe something like a Kali could work. Self-peel, something that can actually do some disruption to this Kalista. Ahri could work again as well, but...
You can get the Renekton mid as well. That's the other thing which could be the flex. Okay, all right. So we talked about this in the last draft when we were talking about Larssen. Oh, he plays a lot of the Azir, he plays a lot of these control mages, but the Viktor's in that pool as well. I'm looking at a lot of champions that want to dive down into your team comp. If you get a good enough gravity field, a good enough Chaos Storm, Larssen going to have huge power in these team fights.
Yeah, I think he didn't want to go for anything like the LeBlanc, Ahri, Akali, because of course he's against things like the Poppy, Nautilus, way too much lockdown. Just pick a mage and play front to back. I don't really have to describe Rogues come to you when there's a Viktor, Jhin, Yuumi. That's a lot of scaling and wave clear. The Renekton Trundle do have some early game potential. It's on Mad Lions to start snowballing this game, get dive spot with the Kalista Nautilus.
Yeah, on the other side though, so much aggressive playmaking from Mad Lions. I think that Sylas Poppy, very deadly combination. You can start potentially upsetting that Viktor if you get the right angle.
What do you think of a bot split map level 1 for Mad Lions?
I think when you've got the level 1 potential of the Kalista, I think that plays into the play pattern, right? I think you're looking to, again, as all Kalista lanes want to, just destroy one half of the map, black it out for the other team.
We're going to find out whether or not this Jhin can work. I want to put those numbers to you. Comp's Jhin is 17 kills, 1 death, and 29 assists.
You love stats.
In the only 3 games he played. I like stats that don't mean anything. That's what I like. It is the first Jhin of Summer, and it is Rogue looking to take advantage, looking to go up 2-1 in the series against their perennial rivals, Rogue and Mad Lions, the 2 organizations that are stamping their control in being contenders and looking for the title. We're about to hit the rift for game number 3. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. I'm sure you can hear it, but I am in such a great mood. And Berlin, you are making me so much happier. I did legitimately insult this entire crowd, not only on camera, but I did it off camera as well. So now they've got something to prove. I want to hear how they cheer for that Rift Herald, because it has been weak in game 1 and 2, and I'm expecting a statement here in game 3.
You love your traditions.
I do so much. Okay, bear with me for just a brief moment. If you are just joining us, welcome to the first BO5 here in Europe. We're starting playoffs a little later than most. I just want to remind everybody of these 2 organizations, the history they have. Outside of teams featuring G2 or Fnatic or series G2 and Fnatic, this is the most seen playoffs matchup that we have. And this year, Mad Lions were unable to pick up a single win against Rogue. However, they were able to do so in the first of this game. And when you look at the head-to-head, the regular season, the playoffs, Mad Lions tend to be better in playoffs, Rogue tend to be better in regular season.
Now, they haven't played in the best of 5 for a little while at this point. It's been a full year, because of course Mad Lions didn't make it in the last playoffs. But they are 3 best of 5 wins back to back to back against Rogue. But they always go close. And this game, Mad Lions have switched things up, and it is going to be that level 1 Nautilus pressure going towards bot side.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Just split the map bot as quick as possible and just 4 stacked waves and dive this Yuumi. You don't have anything to fight back level 1, so we talked about it in draft. Very smart play by Mad Lions. Malrang will get a consolation prize as his wolves, but will Elyoya let him get all of them? No, he won't, so now he won't level up. So that's he does level up actually. They're going to go for the fight.
Well, I'm going to find that pin against the wall. Bottom lane is being pressured. Unforgiven and Kaiser pushing. Nymaera talked about this. Win the game at level 1. That's what you want to do with Kalista.
Again, Kalista is just so dominant at level 1, especially if you have a support that can help out with it. You get control of the wave, and a half of the map for the enemy team just becomes uncharted territory. It's so dangerous playing against a dominant Kalista early game.
And look at Malrang. He can't leave bot. If he leaves, his bot lane's going to get dove 3v2. If he stays, he's going to get pushed out of his own jungle. What does he do? Does he just run to Elyoya's red here or something? He has to be a bit creative. He knows his Gromp is dying. The bot dive's going to happen. Malrang needs to be in the vicinity responding. Cop can't even walk up to this wave.
They're away from the tower, and either way, they're losing XP. You're not getting tower shots onto this group 3-man member of Mad Lions as well. This is still a win. Rogue are losing so many resources through the bot side of the map.
I love this play by Mad Lions. All coordinated from level 1, all coordinated from the draft. They need to be careful though. If Comp levels up and so does Trymbi, there is going to be a fight. Hook has missed. Malrang's going to go in.
Oh, so much damage! The heroic charge into the rend! Mad Lions pick up, securing first blood. That is exactly what you want to see.
And for the longest time, European teams were really bad at doing this on Kalista. You fast forward to the playoffs, and in a very important game for Mad Lions, they set up shop around this bot side, and this is exactly how you want to play this.
What I do like is in the previous game, Malrang ran that Jarvan for a second time. We were looking, is it good? Is it bad? Should it be changed? Rogue basically said, we just have to full send. Go for those tower dives. Get in the face of Mad Lions. It has now been punched back harder, earlier, and faster by Mad. We're up 1,000 gold. Kills secured by Unforgiven, and I wonder how much further they can press this advantage.
It gets even worse for Rogue, right? You've lost all your sums bot. The bot wave is bouncing now that Comp's back here, but Malrang needs to do his top camp. So Elyoya here could do his Raptors red, run bot, and now they're in the same situation, just reversed, where they can't crash a wave. So Kaiser's gonna hide in the bush, look for maybe some kind of flash hook. There's so much pressure on Rogue's bot lane right now. It's gonna be impossible for them to contest these next few waves.
And dare I say, it actually gets even worse at that point, because even if Malrang wants to contest enemy jungle camps, get an individual advantage, you have a losing top lane push at this point. The Sylas as well going to be able to fight earlier. Topside is not really an out option for Malrang either. There's just no options left.
Malrang needs to base and run bots right now if they're going to bail them out of this lane. Otherwise, Comp may as well just roam mid and gank Nisqy, because if you could look at bot here, observers, Comp can't even walk up to the wave. There's nothing he can do. He's just standing out of XP range. One hook hits and he's dead. So maybe if the hook misses and Malrang's behind him, he can crash this wave. The W here could maybe get the cannon. Kaiser doesn't block it in time. they're just kind of getting scraps from this wave as much as they can. Elyoya is now on the way. He will level up off the Krugs to level 4. Malrang's on the way. The 3v3 bot continues.
If a fight breaks out, it's Noon Quiver versus a pair of boots and a cookie. Comp has no additional combat stats outside of that mobility.
Ooh.
The dredge line misses. Kaiser, that was a bit of a swing and a miss, if I do say so myself. Elyoya stood right on top of a ward. Malrang is currently lingering about shadowing. He has to protect his lane.
But like both of these junglers have turned up with like a bowl of petunias or something. They've got nothing. They haven't even base. Shout out to any Hitchhikers fans.
Douglas Adams fan, I heard that one. Or a whale, right? Blue whale falling to the sky, yeah.
Oh no, here we go again, because you know that the thing about Kalista, and I love this champion so much, because both teams know this is exactly what's going to happen. You just fist fight early. Some teams globally have tried to combat this by actually a top laner staying bot lane at level 1 and trying to do something, but Rogue didn't even commit to that, and now they have to deal with this broken map.
Okay, so let's slow things down a little. We got very excited for the first 5 minutes. I want to turn my attention to the other lanes. Armut has been shoving into Odo. Nisqy has been shoving into Larssen. We saw him just roaming and placing some wards. I think in particular, for Larssen and Nisqy, this matchup is now flipped on its head to a touch. Larssen's had the lead or the advantage, the CS push, been able to control Nisqy. Right now, especially because of the matchup, Nisqy has some ability to move around, as we've seen with the wards already.
Yeah, Larssen has the level 6 though, so he'll slowly poke him out. And if Larssen even has a bad wave or thinks Nisqy's going to crash a wave and roam, he can just ult the wave to blow it into the tower so he can match. So I don't think Larssen will be in too much trouble. He just needs the next blue buff. He just needs blue buff on these control mages as much as possible, get the E upgraded, play range, clear wave, slow the game down, stop Nisqy from roaming. Malrang will see that pink.
Yeah, and the last time that Larssen played this Viktor was against Vitality, played it into another kill-heavy mid-jungle. It was an Ari, and I can't remember what the jungler was, but even in that game, his lane control was excellent. Always had the wave at his tower when he wanted speed. Never was in danger of getting kind of shut down at that point. And the longer a Viktor kind of goes unbothered, the more stacks he ends up getting. The earlier he gets those upgrades, and he becomes a real menace later into the game if he gets to keep going.
Comp needs to be a menace too, but again, a bot wave pushing out against him, stacking in favor of Mad. They could just push this back and dive if they have enough information. Unforgiven can start pushing this in as quick as he wants. Elyoya could just flash behind the tower and E-Comp into a hook. So there are so many angles that they can approach this here, Mad Lions. Comp fishing for vision, making sure the second blue buff doesn't get taken so Larssen can get it. Maybe Larssen can start helping them out, but it's just getting worse and worse. This rogue bot lane bleeding gold.
Look at that, 20 CS advantage already. When you see a Jhin needing to farm with a deadly flourish, you know the lane's not going well. See a shaking of the head here from Nymaera to agree, and Mad Lions, they continue to push this up. It's a level advantage for Elyoya in the jungle. He's also been able to take away yet another camp. This mid lane again being shoved in, so Larssen has to catch it. Chaos Storm thrown down just to throw out some of the waves. Sorry, the Death Ray rather. And again, roaming movement already. So Nisqy, this time around, looking like he has more opportunity, more time to move around the map. It's a 1,500 cold lead by 8 minutes.
And I really love what I'm seeing from Mad Lions in this game, because earlier in Summer, they were trying to play a couple of Kalista games, and they were playing toward, actually the game they lost against Misfits, because they ended up not playing towards bot side, and they were absolutely here this time.
King Kaiser finds the dredge line, throws out the Riptide. Elyoya is not going to find the stun, but it may not be needed. The Ren stacks haven't got the kill. Comp escapes, 100 HP to his name. Needed that, goes to run away.
Yeah, Mad Lions, when they played Kalista in the past, they actually went too far towards top side. This game, everything is bot side, and they're just making sure that Comp and Trymbi cannot play this game.
Larsen's gonna pop the ult on Nisqy there just to crash the wave. That's how he keeps up in tempo against this Sylas. Gonna have to take a base now and run back out on the map, but you can see the CS deficit in bot lane, 40 CS down. Unforgiven might get a couple plates as well, so as much as the solo lanes might be stable, the 3v3 bot side is not.
Of course, that CS difference for Comp is causing a lot of problems. This Jhin, we haven't seen it a lot. Well, he hasn't died just yet. Those previous games' performances that I was praising so heavily during draft, this was the answer into the Kalista as well, right? Because there was a Kalista in the first rotation. I need to see how Rogue are going to call this back. That Goldie continues to develop. And when you think Poppy, Sylas, Kalista, Kennen, they just want a death ball jump into your face. Jin's not going to do well with
And
that.
Sylas has been such a powerhouse pick as well in Europe, in the LEC, and across regions like the LPL and the LCK. Can do so much damage. He's got so many good ults to take away as well. Like the Viktor ult already is just going to dish out so much in the team fights. We saw Larssen in game 1 did struggle a bit, yes, but in this kind of comp that Rogue is running, the Sylas will have a lot of room to work with.
And what I found really interesting about particularly LEC Sylas, and actually across the world as well, but it is a very good blind pick. There aren't really counters into Sylas anymore.
That was personal,
Oh,
Brian.
this is personal. Okay, I love that. Okay, observers, I do need you to show the Rift Herald once it gets dropped. Of course, it was secured. And of course, I was busy paying attention to the graphics I was running up, so I apologize to Bill. I let them down.
So was I, thanks. But yeah, I mean, speaking of that picking, it's just very good in a blind pick. It's been a power pick for such a long time, and it's so versatile as well. As you're talking about those ultimates, I feel like Sylas ults, they're kind of the cherry on top. He's just a good champion in general, particularly with that Kingslayer, allowing him to take elongated fights when you have so much ability to have those elongated fights. But the ults just add the extra bit of spice to have that creative playmaking, and of course he has that this game. Yeah,
zone control so important when you've got a Kennen and a Viktor ult on the side of Nisqy. You can control a lot of space around the river fights. I'd love to see bot wave right now. Is Mad Lions stacking a bot wave into this tower? Comp wants to catch it. Elyoya is hovering around again with Herald. They want to force a dive if he's around. Larssen gets mid push, so he will be first into river. Elyoya, no flash. I think Rogue could commit on this, but no, they're just going to back away.
They held the trigger there.
Yeah.
That 40 CS advantage for Comp has me wondering, I wonder what the earliest flame horizon is in League of Legends. I won't be able to find that on Super.
I think it was actually at 14 minutes, and I think it was Betsy.
Wow.
I think I remember watching that game.
That is crazy.
How do you remember these?
That is
I started
impressive.
watching back then. I think
That
it was
is
like
impressive.
2015.
That is impressive if that's the case. Betsy was Gambit's mid lane.
Gambit's mid
But I
lane.
feel
Right,
like
yeah.
maybe in the lane swap meta, there might be a different
It was,
one.
it was Corky mid. It was when
Yeah.
you farmed Raptors.
Well, the point I was trying to get at was, if Unforgiven and Kaiser can keep this pressure, how early can they get that 100 CS advantage, which is of course called the Flame Horizon? Nisqy's got the flash, will need it. It's away from that Chaos Storm. Subjugate was thrown out by Malrang as well.
I really hope that's right, by the way.
Well, I'm sure that it is. It's a good memory if it is. But I think for now, Mad Lions exceptionally happy with how this early game has played out. I do think you need to keep in mind the fact that playing into the Trundle, into the Viktor, into that final chapter, there are tools that Rogue can use, but the margin for error is so slim.
Yeah, we've set the stage in the early game. Rogue want to scale, Mad want to force. They've got themselves a small gold lead right now. They still have the Herald. Nisqy seems to be the target for Rogue. Again, we see Rogue trying to invest resources to gank this mid laner of Mad Lions. Elyoya will spot out Comp just on the edge of the brush. Kaiser's hovering around now, so Rogue needs to be a bit careful. They could be pincer, but no flash on Elyoya.
Deadly Flourish and the Keeper's Verdict at least sends Malrang packing. That keeps Elyoya alive without expending anything else.
And how does Comp get to bot wave here? If Kaiser just matches him and stops him from going to this tower, I think that Unforgiven could just hit it, but now he's joining the rest of his team. Herald could be placed. Mad Lions control this entire lane. Comp can't even walk up. He's 2 levels down in creeps, down in everything, and down goes this tower.
I mean, just before Malrang steps forward, Rift Herald's been summoned.
Ooh.
Berlin!
Can they get it? They might be able to.
Hey!
I was so scared it was gonna die. I was so scared. While that was going on, Odoamne did jump onto Armut. The tower stays alive. I want to zoom out for a brief moment. One of the things we were talking a lot about was questioning and wondering what's going to happen in the bot lane. I know we talked a little bit about the Draven, the Kalista, the Zeri before the series even began. And we've seen 3 very different looking bot lanes as the series has played out. What I really like is as soon as this Kalista Nautilus is locked in, Mad Lions, their bot lane, they are playing around it and committing every single resource.
And I think it goes to show how versatile a team Mad Lions can be. We talk about them having this hallmark of having an active mid-jungle, getting active on the map early, everyone moving to the plate, but the champions they pilot are actually very diverse. And that's been the case for a little while now. I look at both of these teams, in fact, and across recent LEC history, these two have really started to stand out as very creative, intelligent teams.
Oh my word, that's in trouble for Kaiser. Is going to throw out the depth charge. Unforgiven's making his way out.
Spider Naut.
Spider Nautilus manages to stay alive. Fate's Call now needed. Flash as well as the cleanse may need to come out. Unforgiven! Oh, he sidesteps a Deadly Flourish, but the curtains are called, and it's Rogue that get to.
And it's Rogue who's quick to punish. Armut can't TP in. Nisqy was in mid. Rogue had 5 members in the versus 3. They were committing much harder, and they will pay for it because Odo can TP bot and catch the wave. They'll lose this wave in mid here, but 2 kills to Rogue.
Bruh, what was that?
What it was is a huge mistake, because when you're playing this bot side snowball composition, you cannot afford to give up these kind of easy mistakes. You want to stay ahead of the game, continually be a wrecking ball around this 2v2. And that gives Rogue a really good window into the game. A kill onto the Viktor as well. Remember that with Viktor's passive when it was changed all those years ago. The more kill participation you have, the quicker you unlock your upgraded abilities. That's important for Larssen.
Kaiser thinks he's safe here because he has Kalista ult. He can go solo for Vision if Unforgiven hovers, and then we see the Kalista ults come in. But it's when Mad Lions turn this fight that it goes disastrously wrong. Odo flashes in, Elyoya tries to peel, Larssen arrives. It's a 5 versus 3. Unforgiven, good flash, but Comp snipes him out with Larssen. And then Elyoya is stuck left running for the hills, and then they use the TP bot. That Comp, I think, is just relieved because he's been under so much pressure this game that this kills, relieves it so he can actually catch waves. And again, he has to have his jungler babysit him for these waves on a tower. They can't even walk up 3v3. Look at Larssen, he's on the way.
Yeah, and Larssen, after that fight, has got Luden's got the boost. It's the early double magic pen spike. And if you hit one of those death rays onto that Kalista, onto a heck, even the Nautilus at this point, going for the tabbies, don't have any magic resist. This Viktor is going to start being able to leverage the advantage and the gold which they've earned.
And of course, that means he needs to step up. Take a look at the gold difference here. Armut, Unforgiven, Nisqy in the top 4. Larssen there, and of course, Comp down below, even Elyoya for now. Those 2 assists will help. This is going to sound real silver lining. But that 40 gold, 40 CS deficit has not grown. So I was making jokes about 5-10 minutes ago about whether or not Flame Horizon would happen. It is stuck at that 40. That's crucial because that becomes less significant the longer the game goes.
It's not grown, but it's netted them a lot of neutrals, right?
Yeah.
Bot tier 1 down, top tier 1 down. This will be their second Herald, and they've got the first Dragon as well. Rogue have yet to respond to absolutely anything. All they've done is punish one mistake so far from Mad.
Yeah, and what tends to happen in current patch of League of Legends, and it hasn't for a while, ever since like...
I literally was staring at the audience here. I stopped watching the game to watch the reaction. I love you, brother. Thank you.
What happens, what's happened the last couple of seasons when you have so many neutrals which you do want to fight over is that often your laning phase ends, so you can't keep building these CS advantages. You really need to keep an elongated laning phase to keep that CS advantage, but it doesn't mean that you aren't getting important things elsewhere.
That means for Mad Lions, they're getting those important things elsewhere to help build an advantage
Very
this game.
specific,
It's still 3,000 gold. I mean, no, it's crucial though, right? 2 towers to 0, they're down in kills, but they've got the dragon. Drake is up as well, so we'll find out what soul they're playing for. I think crucial as well, we've not really seen Odo and Armut. The game hasn't been played around them at all. They've literally been living alone.
Yep.
Even on CS, as far as you're concerned, even on items, and Shelly's been dropped, it's the second time.
Mad have so many options.
Yeah.
Both side lane towers are down. They're gonna get this mid-tier 1 as well with the Shelly crash. And they're gonna keep pressuring on the next wave. Dragon's up, that's their exit objective. Ideally, they make this crash. If they can do, they'll make taking mid-tier 2 later on a bit easier, but Shelly will fall. Dragon is in their eyes, and Nisqy will base and catch top wave. Armut pushes out bot, so although Mad are down in kills, they are dictating the entirety of this game.
Yeah, the thing about taking that mid lane out of turret, this has just always been the case about that, is that once you lose mid lane out of turret, you struggle to keep vision control around those 2 jungle entrances either side of it, which means that with a team comp like Mad Lions, that has a Sylas, that has so much engage, you're going to be vulnerable as Rogue to potential flanks from Mad should they choose to go for it.
I think there's a ward behind Rogue right now, which Mad Lions have been furiously pinging. Armut could TP to it when Nisqy's there. It's a little bit left on it. There was about 6 or 7 pings on it. They were thinking of going on to Larssen, but looks like he's getting enough cover from his team. Does Armut pull the trigger? He has a good timing right now. He has 5 seconds left to TP to that ward. Does he do it? Yes, he does.
What
Last
a great
second.
read!
Here they go. Elyoya's on the way. Rogue are between 2 members of Mad in their jaws. Will they die?
This is a 4 versus 3.
Watch them split. How do they space?
Trymbi's got exhaust heal. He's got the final chap that needs to be huge. Puts himself into the alcove because you can't get through it. But that locks you inside the slicing maelstrom. Keeper's verdicts into 1 flying. Armut's got a kill onto Larssen. Welcome to the game. All of a sudden, the next focus will be Elyoya, who is dropped. Mad Lions now trying to deal with 3 members. Comp's in. He's got the also. He's got the crit.
Coming.
Can't get the damage, but on Kalista with Unforgiven. Fate's call is thrown, and Rogue might just get wrecked. Odo's got 1,000,000 stacks inside that will be rendered and popped by Unforgiven, and comes the next target. He escapes, is able to get away with his life. Curtain call, 1, 2, manages to get the kill. And won't be able to find any more.
Okay, so this time it's Rogue trying to play that split map, but when you move too quickly, when you are behind in a game, and actually sometimes when you're ahead as well, sometimes you lose track of some of these wards. Sometimes you lose track of where enemies are rotating to. Rogue don't have the information. Mad pounce, Mad get the kills.
Yeah, it's such a frustrating fight for Odoamne specifically. We'll take a look at that in a sec. The TP comes in just as the ward expires. Gets spotted on the wave, but Rogue don't really have anywhere to go. Odo will TP in, Comp will gap close, Unforgiven, yes, will be extremely late. Elyoya goes in, the Nautilus ult on Larssen was fantastic, good exhaust, but it's Odoamne who has a really frustrating fight. He TP's in, the knock missed, yes, but Elyoya buys time with the stopwatch, slows the fight down for him. Then he finally gets the kill, but when he rejoins, he just keeps getting CC'd, knocked up, kind of punched around, so that he can't actually clean this fight up for Rogue.
Yeah, he'd love to be in this mess, love to be in this melee, but he turns up 10-15 seconds late, and yeah, he gets a kill on one side of the fight, but he doesn't get to kill the enemy carries or just make their lives difficult before the damage has already been done.
As we come out of this replay, Mad Lions significantly further ahead. Armut on the Kennen, popping off in the fight. The two-time TCL champion, the two-time LEC champion gets the double-double with 2 kills and 2 assists. No! The timing on that! I literally just asked Caedrel to draw a line under the scoreboard for my lame joke.
I didn't know where the joke
no,
was
you're
going.
Good, dude. You were so good. Nevertheless, can you draw the line? Can you draw the line for me?
Yes, I will draw the line.
Damn it! It was such a lame joke that I was trying to work. It didn't show up on the telly anyway. Nevertheless, Mad Lions 5-0.
Should I take a step
I didn't get
outside?
it.
What's it?
Oh,
It's okay, we'll tell you when you're older.
It was a really, really stupid joke, really stupid meme from Armut's first year in the LEC. I think the point I want to get to, though, is he didn't have much chance to shine in the previous game on Kennen. This time he does. Nisqy's hijacked that dominus, and with the help of Kaiser, trying to chase down Odo. The turnaround, however, is Elyoya. The keeper's verdict doesn't send anyone packing, and Comp gets himself the kill. Mad Lions being punished a little bit over the last few fights.
30-second window, Baron is up. Jhin not very quick at taking down the Nash, but Larssen on the Viktor could do. Looks like he's moving towards the blue. They'll take that pick, regain some vision, and get a mid-wave.
Yeah, but it's not even like you have something like Leandri's on the Viktor. Your Baron damage as a whole team is fairly low. I think that's absolutely right to call that one out. But when you've got the Dragon up, maybe that's where you want to be starting to angle towards. Of course, with the recent changes to Dragons over the last couple of patches, actually Cloud Soul's gone to be actually a fairly good soul to get, because if you manage to stack up multiple things of them, you get a lot of slow resist, you get a lot of out-of-combat movement speed, and that gets very significant when you're dealing with more soft-engaged champions like the Yuumi Q or the Trundle E. It just makes that so much harder to play around.
It might be what Rogue will be looking for if they can manage to get control, but they are down a significant amount. I mean, 4,000 at this point of the game. I want to take a quick look. Total damage dealt as well.
That's the Renekton training dummy.
There we go. It helps a lot. All of that, you know, poke damage and chipping away with a ranged attack into the melee. But I think crucially, one of the things I'm interested in is the fact that if you take a look at Comp's damage, 6,000. He's 202. He's still down 2,400 gold. And itemization, look, 1.5 versus 2.5. So for Comp, he still needs a lot of time. And Elyoya's going to turn his attention to Trymbi. Trymbi gets pinned against the wall. The slicing Maelstrom comes in. That locks down Malrang. There comes another. Hijacked away for the subjugate. This will allow the dive to go even
Viktor's
further.
coming.
Armut gets out with his life, waiting for the Chaos Storm. Drop it down from Larssen. Continues to chase out. The Mad Lions have already escaped. Curtain Call fires out a couple of shots and won't find any kills. 1-2 to Mad Lions.
That could net them a dragon as well. I don't think they can get this bot tier 2, but the soul point is what they're looking for. Kalista so far ahead. They want to fight these neutrals. Nisqy might be in trouble. Comp lands the root. Does he get the fourth shot? The Zhonya's comes out.
What can Nisqy do? Escapes for now and gets popped. I held my breath in case something magical would happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no flash available to him, which means he can't get away from the CC. And his death will at least allow a safe dragon secure. So it is still Mad Lions in the lead. And I think Nymaera, going right back to the very early stage of this game, Mad Lions have continued to keep the pressure on.
They have, and now if we're going to talk about, you know, waiting for something magical to happen, we're going to need to see some magic from Rogue after this point. They're in a position where it is going to be very difficult to get to the point where they are very strong. You need to have Viktor so ungodly powerful, because this Jhin is just not going to be.
No, he isn't. Trev, I have to say that was one of the most evil laughs I've ever heard in my life. The Yuumi getting caught.
The thing is so funny is it puts you in the minds of our observer team. They literally pause the game, like wave the mouse around just for comedic effect.
Can the next time we have that, we have like the slow zoom in on the Yuumi face? Would that be the next step?
Go black and white, you know, moments before disaster or something like that.
So, what? You must be wondering how I found myself.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at the end of the day, Trymbi and Comp are still falling behind. We're on the verge of that 100 CS difference. It's taking a little longer than I was expecting, but with 3 items Kalista, as well as that shield block, it's going to be so hard. And it's going to be very difficult to get to her in any case because of all the other champions on the side of Mad Lions. 3.5 until Soul is up. and you have to feel they can slow the game down now. Wait for that one and just play for the soul.
Yeah, and now Rogue are at a point where if they don't end up fighting at that dragon, the game gets very, very difficult if it wasn't before. I don't think they're going to have the luxury of being able to just stall and farm out.
Odo might be caught here. Elyoya's on the way. No TPs just yet, I believe. He's going to get the stun.
Alright, it's going to be at least able to throw down. Interrupt, slicing Maelstrom followed with the rocket belt, and one last auto should just about do it. Smash wasn't needed. The second time Odo's been run down, what I did see was interesting, both Larssen and Odo had the highest XP in the game with the amount of time they've spent in those solo lanes.
Yep, Larssen quite far ahead. Actually a full level over Nisqy right now. Even more, getting close to that level 16 will become a huge threat, like we talked about Nymaera. When he gets things like the Rabadons, that's what Larssen's eyeing up. He needs his team to slow down. He's getting caught over sides. These mistakes of Trymbi and Odoamne just playing its dividends for Mad Lions because it speeds up the pace of the game. This bot tier 2 will fall more gold to force objectives with, which means Larssen doesn't have enough time to work with.
Yeah, I think when you hit level 16 on the Viktor, maybe there exists a team fight at that point where just everyone just funnels onto one target. They think they're ahead from Mad Lions, and then the Chaos Storm just shreds them. Maybe that's a fight you can look for. That's quite a slim win condition, particularly when Viktor should be under threat as well. They should be the primary target. And because the Jhin isn't going to pick up the slack, if there isn't a perfect fight for the Viktor, you need Larssen to really be aware of his positioning and how much damage he can get out.
Of course, talking about Larssen, talking about the stakes again, we mentioned the head-to-head between these two respective teams. Let's not forget that whoever wins this is guaranteed to go to Malmo, have a shot at the title. Mad Lions looking to pick up their third after not even making playoffs in spring. You've got Swedish players on the roster. Rogue, obviously, a number of top 3 finishes, so that is definitely what the teams are looking for.
Go to Malmo, you've got Swedish superstars on either side, and you also lock in the World Championship if you win this game. Rogue and Mad. A lot of confetti, a lot of fighting. Malrang might be in trouble here. Armut's forced to flash to the side. Kennen flash down for this next Baron or Dragon Force. Winner goes to Worlds. A lot on the line here for both these teams. Mad Lions now setting up for this Baron, but no flash on Armut.
And reminder, winner of the series goes to Worlds. You need to get those 3 game points to win the match. Down the bottom lane, Odoamne is pushing the tower. Malrang is caught out. That dredge line pulls him backwards. But the gravity field will slow down any further follow-up. Chaos Storm has been used, and Odo completes the teleport. Level 15, slicing Maelstrom was thrown down. As it stands, Baron is not secured.
But whenever you make an even trade or anything which slows the game down, think this favors Rogue right now, unless it's around that dragon. You've got a minute until that happens, and that'll be what we're waiting for. Problem is, Malrang has no flash now. Malrang has to somehow navigate this next fight, which might end up determining the game, with no ability to properly sidestep so much CC.
I suppose the only kind of flip side to that is Armut and Nisqy don't have flashes either, so Comp and Larssen have a little bit of an easier time in terms of kiting these divers back and away. Another problem Rogue have is TP down for Odo. He had to TP in there to help his team out. Armut has TP advantage, so matching bot becomes a little bit harder. But with Dragon up in 30 seconds, Soul up in 30 seconds, Rogue won't have any issues with globals. They won't have any issues with TPs. They just want to find a 5v5.
Nymaera set this fight up for me. What do you think of the vision? What do you think of Rogue's ability to challenge?
Well, I think when you're looking at this, again, I think Rogue really wants to play around Sjokz. That's what I'm looking for. They need to make sure that the Kennen gets nowhere close to them. Like Caedrel was saying, no flash on that really helps. Rogue, get mid-priority, choose your terrain, stand your ground.
Larssen didn't get the gold for Rabadon before this dragon. He had to settle for a blasting wand instead. He's going all in. He knows these next couple of fights will decide the game. He needs as much AP as possible. Mad now turning their eyes to this Baron. If Rogue start up the dragon, they're going to lose Nash, and Mad ready to force. Slicing Maelstrom up. Armut's really close to 60.
This is great because Mad say, okay, Rogue, you're going to choose an area of the map. Let's go to the other side of it. We don't care about losing one dragon. You care if we get the Baron.
And of course, this is not a 50-50 with Rend and Smite. It is favored to
Armut's
Mad
TP.
Lions. Armut is teleporting in. Slicing Maelstrom's available. Rocket Belt's available. I'm waiting for the trigger to be pulled. Nisqy's already hijacked away his ability. Larssen still got that Chaos Storm available to him. Rogue are backing out. They've stopped the Baron for now. Prowling projectile flies forward, and Odo's already used the Dominus.
Yeah, Matt's happy to kite that out because the Renekton and Trundle ults are down. Those are really big ults in terms of frontline, buying time for Larssen and Comp. So they can just take a reset here. Nisqy can TP back in. He'll have his ult up again. It's only Kaiser who lost his ult on Mad Lions' side.
I think compared to the first 2 games, how measured was that? Understanding that a misstep here costs so much. We have been fist fighting all day, folks, but this time both are just keeping a little in reserve for the final blow.
Yo, Nymaera, not even previous games. Earlier this game, there was a lot of reservation. Now, Slicing
Here
Maelstrom
we
is still
go.
available. Armut's got no
Rogue
flash.
are grouped up.
Nisqy's looking to step forward. Dredgeline comes out and waiting for Armut to rocket belt in. That's the Slicing Maelstrom holding on to it for
This
now.
is the choke
Chaos
point.
Storm's gone forward, but take a look at this. Unforgiven with the Hurricane and the Martial Poise. May want to find a pinch of his own. It cannot happen. 1, 2, 3 kills. Secure the 4th to follow, as well as the Dragon and the Ace.
Rogue do find the choke
That's
point,
game.
but it is their own demise. Game 3 going to the Pride Alliance, going to Mad Lions.
Mad Lions from the start of this game have stamped their authority with Unforgiven's Kalista. He's only a few CS away from that Flame Horizon. Inhibitor will fall. And Rogue got absolutely torn apart, eviscerated, and destroyed from the bottom lane. Mad Lions 1 game away from an upper bracket final and a guaranteed spot at Worlds.
Fantastic early play by Mad Lions. This Kalista is going to be a very big problem for Rogue to solve in draft in the next game. Which side do you take? Which side do you ban the Kalista on? Do Mad Lions have a chance that they can do something similar on, like the Draven? Is it worth to invest 2 bans bot lane? How much does that affect the rest of the map? There's going to be a lot of thinking for Rogue to do after this game.
And it marks a real improvement in me. And European teams playing Kalista, I was not impressed by them halfway through this summer. This was a great Kalista game. Mad Lions really showing up here today.
I think what I really like, again, is just the adaptation, the changes between games, right? I think the bottom lane is the most significant variance. I wonder what else changes now for Rogue. They've now lost 2 of the 3 games with relatively similar-ish type of comps. So the onus is on them, not only because they're down 2-1.
Yeah, how much have they prepared? Have they got something
Yeah.
different? Can they throw everything out the window and just start from the beginning, start from scratch and build something up that they have comfort and reliability on? Because if they have it, they need to pull it out.
Can
now.
I be unfair for a brief moment? And this really is unfair,
just this
so
once.
please do forgive me for this.
You're
But
forgiven.
Rogue do have a history. They have a brandishment of being, chokers, not clutch factor when it matters. Look, this is a team that has made 3rd more often than not, right? They make top 3 in playoffs. The Mad Lions have been a thorn in their side, and when it comes to playoffs, historically, Mad Lions as an org has the edge of a Rogue. They're 0-4 in regular season. They're now 2-1 today.
Yeah, but these teams always go so close. And I think that is testament to how these teams can adapt. They can think about the game,
Yeah.
and they need to show that again now to Rogue to make sure this will be another close confrontation between the two.
Ultimately, to go back to the unfair statement on behalf of Rogue, the moniker to get rid of it, to deal with that kind of belief or that approach, this is the moment to step up, right? So not only is their back against the wall, obviously if they lose this, they drop down to the lower bracket, so they're not eliminated. There's still a lot of interesting things that can happen, but the pressure is all on Rogue. Interestingly, I believe we have Mr. Broxah standing by at the telestrator. So break that down for us, and everyone in chat, thank Mr. Broxah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Quickshot. Now I'm gonna do my very best to showcase a little special something from the start of this game, because this game was a very interesting one right from level 1. So let's get right into it here. We currently see Mad Lions coming in the river. They have the advantage having Kalista, Nautilus versus Yuumi. Go for the level 1 invade. Rogue knows they cannot respond, so they just walk back to bot. Malrang looks for the wolves. We see Elyoya finishing blue buff, and he goes. And right here, Malrang got the last wolf. If he didn't get that, he would be level 1 now. Managed to get to level 2, but it doesn't matter, because in the meantime, Matt has full pressure, but they take a fight, they get the advantage of the wave. Comp doesn't have a single lasted yet, and we just see the junglers, lingering around, trying to figure out what's going on. Malrang knows that if he doesn't come to bot lane right now, his bot lane is gonna die, they're gonna get dove. So he tries to find a way to get to bot without Elyoya going on him. He looks around mid, tries to walk that way, doesn't really work out. Elyoya moves bot, pushes out the enemy bot lane, and now it's a bit tricky, because all of a sudden you're in the spot where Rogue cannot really do anything. Like, they're still level 1 at their bot lane. Kalista and Nautilus are so strong at this stage, they have to find a way to get on the turret. So they try to walk off, Nautilus misses the hook. Malrang gets a little desperate, ends up being smashed into the wall by Poppy, is being taken down, and now he essentially ended up tanking a death for Rogue's bot lane to finally make it on the turret. And we see Comp being able to get some last hits and get level 2. But a chaotic start, but all in all, very well played by by the Mad Lion squad using the advantage against the Yuumi.
And oh my god, I think last game we said Armut's not allowed to play League of Legends. This is so difficult of a situation to be in, right? I think because as Rogue, you do know that it's going to come to those team fights. So obviously you don't want to leave your Jhin completely without anything to fend for himself. But that does mean that you're then also giving up other things on the map because you're trying to protect him. So difficult situation all around.
We started the day by highlighting a clip of where Mad utilized their early wave pressure in order to set up an invade. This is a more extreme version where they do it before level 3, they do it at level 1. But it's a great example of what Mad love to do and where they take from the LPL, where their whole approach is, we know Champion A is stronger than Champion B, so let's fight. And you can see how they don't hesitate. The bot lane goes all in at level 1. The jungler is looking to fight the enemy jungler, and then they get that mid pro to then move Nisqy over as well. Like, it's just great coordination on the bot side, and they don't let up in the early game with this aggression either.
They didn't. Let's talk about X champion is better than the other. Let's take a look at the team comp specifically. I like that throughout this best of 5, we've seen both teams in certain amounts sticking to their guns, right? When it comes to the Renekton, maybe Odoamne sticking to that, then getting a victory on it in the second game. Now again, Kennen again for Armut. Other elements, aside from maybe the bot lane, where I was a little bit surprised of where that all went, Broxah. But it's just showing you how things are evolving. So do you think Matt just had the right decision-making, staying on blue and making the choices that they did, and that netted them the win?
I think it's pretty clear that Mad Lions had a solid plan coming in, coming into this game, because they finally got their hands on 2 prior picks, Kalista and Poppy. Poppy has been permabanned up until this point, and now, they just knew that Rogue were going to pick Yuumi. They had a plan ready, and they just shut it down immediately. I think that was really impressive.
Yeah, the Poppy.
The thing that stood out to me was Rogue was very committed to the Yuumi. We've seen the Yuumi commitment pretty much throughout the series. But the adaptation that Mad made was that in the first phase, they were like, we're actually fine with you getting Zeri Yuumi. We're not fine with you getting Sivir Yuumi. So they removed the Sivir, and then Rogue don't actually prioritize the Zeri at all. They actually let it through. And then Mad's like, okay, well, we'll ban that too. What have you now got that you compare with Yuumi? Because while everyone does love to say that Yuumi is a broken champion and that Yuumi is so overpowered, she can't actually play with any AD carry that you want. They need to match up stylistically, synergistically, they need to be a good match together. And Jhin does work well with Yuumi. Their movement speed synergizes well, it compensates for some of Jin's weaknesses, but it makes the early game way weaker than some of these other champions. It doesn't have Sivir's wave clear, it doesn't have Zeri's safety, and Mad immediately took advantage of that.
They did. I also like the adaptation out of Kaiser, went for the Enchanter 2 times in a row. He had the Lucian Nami in the first game as well. And now he says, no, I'm going to go for a beefy engage support in the Nautilus, and they just made it work. It paid out dividends for them in general in terms of those skirmishes, I want to say, because we didn't see as many full 5v5 full things. I feel like it was a lot of trying and waiting and holding back and picking off here, a couple of kills there.
I think this was a game where Rogue just didn't have much agency in the early game compared to the other two, and they had no foot to stand on because of how devastating the early game for the bot side was. They tried to make cross-map happens, but we said it in the post-game last time around. We have to say it again. When Mad see an opportunity to fight, they're going to take it. And that was such a deep TP flank, and it was a little bit risky because it gave a lot of time for both sides to collapse. But Mad, they had the numbers advantages in these initial skirmishes, and then the second that Kalista shows up, it's an easy win for Mad Lions. And this was really the fight that kind of determined the outcome of the game because it gave such a massive gold swing over towards the Mad Lions.
I feel a bit bad for Comp in this game because he was put so far behind already from level 1, and he actually played so well on the Jhin. He didn't die for so long, but there was just nothing he and the rest of Rogue could do because Matt got the lead and they just managed to take over the rest of the game with it.
Yeah, super impressive out of them. I think also this bot lane matchup is something that we're keeping our eye on in terms of Unforgiven rather, and Comp, quite like the new age AD carries when it comes to European League of Legends, right? And especially Unforgiven, who does have a crucial role also in this game on the Kalista, obviously. Really coming into his own now in these playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. Like the fact that when you play against Unforgiven, you have to ban Draven every game already gives them a nice advantage in the draft. And he has shown time and time again that he's just like the rest of his team, able to go for these super aggressive plays. When anyone makes a mistake, he's there to punish.
I think that both Comp and Unforgiven are very similar AD carries in that they're very happy to play aggressive, they're happy to pick these scaling picks, and they feel like very complete, very flexible ADs. It makes sense why they were both voted as the top 2 AD carries at the end of the regular season, and it's great to see them both shine, but then obviously when you have 2 superstar AD carries, it very much then determines by the rest of the map. And this was the first game where we didn't see Malrang being allowed to do what he's been doing in the other games so far, and that's ultimately what it comes down to. How much agency do the junglers have in these games? And it was the Elyoya show this
I
game.
guess it comes back to what Broxah was also outlining in Ready Check about how Malrang is going to make things happen for his lanes, but if he's stuck in one because we need to help this comp, then what else is he going to be able to do, of course? Let's look ahead, and we're going to be covering picks and bans after the break. But first, Matt is now on match point. You had a 3-1 prediction. You had a 3-2, although also for Matt, but you're at least giving it some extra mileage. Where do you land now, Broxah, in terms of if Rogue can fight back?
I am still very confident in Mad Lions. I think this entire game was pretty much pre-planned from them, you know, in terms of the level 1. Like, you could see this is something that they had planned before going into the game. They executed on it perfectly. And I think now we need to see from Rogue if they can throw a similar curveball, change something in draft, try to change it up one way or another to get themselves an advantage and catch Mad off guard. But I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it.
You've probably experienced this a lot yourself, given your veterancy in the best of 5. But when it comes to banning, you often have a choice. You either try and remove things that the enemy team is comfortable on or things you can't afford to give them, or you remove what is OP. Mad made the choice to say, we know Yuumi is strong, but we're going to let it through. And they've won 2 games out of the 3, knowing that Yuumi is open.
I want to know the answer as well, but we're going to get it after the break because we need to take the break now so we can come back with the draft. But we'll pick that one back up. But Mad, they are on match point. They are just 1 win away from securing a spot in Malmö and the World Championship. Can Rogue bounce back? We hope so. Game 4 will be up after this.